Hey Leo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. General reading, take what works, leave what doesn't. Feel free to check Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We're doing a traditional tarot spread here. And then over on Vimeo, we're going to have a love-specific reading. So who knows what that will come up with. We might have a love reading here too. We never know. But we do have the Star card. I like this. Hope, an opportunity. The star is a wink. It's a glimmer of an opportunity. It's getting closer. It's possible. It's the sense that something is possible. You're either watching someone else do it, or you're getting like the beginnings of the results of something that you've put out there, like a dream you've wanted to create and work on. You're starting to get some results. It's the universe. It's like, I gotcha. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. In the recent past, we have Two of Fire. Two of Fire is, well, I want to say that it's reminding me of the Star card, but it's not physically, but it is like, this is interesting. So we have six. Okay, here's the card. Two of Fire to me is about very practical concerns about how something is going to be accomplished. So it's our wands energy, and the twos often, for some of the suits, the twos take us out of the overall gist of the reading of the suit, right? So wands is intuition, creativity, that kind of thing. Two of Fire is a very practical, how do I create mode. So it's not necessarily, she is still in touch with her intuition here. There's the intuitive dream, and then there's a how do I accomplish this dream. So this is really interesting because I think that what I'm seeing here is something that at one point was really helpful, at another point starts to sow self-doubt. That's what I'm seeing on this, like people or a job or some kind of like you and whose army is going to make this happen. And then there's like a little mutiny in the army. So that's what I'm seeing here is it's like you and whose army. And so you've been in this very practical mode, and you've sort of had like some kind of backup, or you've had people watching you and watching what you're doing and observing you. And you've had to have very practical considerations about a creative passion here. There's a sense of wanting to get going on something and trying to set things up for it and trying to set yourself up for success in the future, and wanting to take flight and wanting to make something happen. But it's like working really hard on the practical stuff, because it just seems the distance between where you're at and where you want to act and where you want to be is huge. So there's a sense of practicing. There's a sense of trying to control something, being a little bit controlling, not feeling connected to maybe the more creative aspects of it, not being able to feel connected to something. And so making up for it with a lot of practical actions, right? Sometimes this is reminding me of a relationship that you might be in, or that you might be in or might have been in the past, where you wanted to be in a relationship, you weren't necessarily feeling it, and so you overcompensated for not necessarily feeling something by being incredibly practical and proactive and trying to make something happen, when there's a sense of that's not necessarily in the flow of things, but trying to make something happen to overcompensate for a lack of faith. I mean, what's interesting is as we're making things happen, as we're doing this, right, we do need to be like doing our part, doing our work, but there's a sense of maybe having come out of an intuitive flow because of a lack of faith in where that's going, and lack of faith in the possibility, and trying to overcompensate with practical behavior, which did not get you actually anywhere. So in the current situation, we have the Moon card. A lot of feelings, but what's illusion? What's intuition? What in the shadows is real? There's a lot of shadows here. There's a sense of dealing with like subconscious issues. A shadow self, a lot of self-reflection usually shows up in the Moon card, and we have that. The moon itself is a reflecting entity. It doesn't have light of its own, of course. It's just reflecting light off the sun. So, so there is like reflection. There can be a time of not acting. It's like you can see how you've acted out of a lack of faith in the past. You can see how your efforts and really spinning your wheels. It's like the spinning your wheels metaphor comes from, I think, in my mind anyway, like if you were to drive out onto the, like we have beaches here, sandy beaches in my state where you can drive on the beaches. There's always like this little bit of like soft sand before you get to the hard sand that you can actually drive on pretty easily. And people get stuck in the soft sand. And you can gun your motor as much as you want. You can, and it's just gonna, unless there's something solid to get traction on, it's just spinning its wheels, right? So you may have been like really applying the gas, really trying, really working hard at something and just not going anywhere. And that hard work is important on the one hand. On the other hand, it can be overcompensating for faith in the universe. So now we're in this like moon, like reflection, like, okay, how did that work? Did doing all that work really pay off? Did putting that much effort into something really pay off? I mean, because the key to going over that that soft sand is to just sort of keep it nice and steady and easy and just go without a lot of stopping and starting, but just kind of maintaining everything. At least that was my experience, as easy as you can. So this moon card is showing up as and maybe even doubting this vision that you had. Like, I worked really hard, or like did this. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this wasn't the right way to go. Maybe this wasn't the right way to go about doing something. That might be a little bit of what we're getting at with this moon card. A good direction to look into anyway. You know, what's illusion? What was intuition? Was this, because this Two of Fire like assumes in a way that you've already had some sort of intuitive vision, and now you're really like, oh, I got to go there, and I got to go there as fast as I can, and I got to go there in this direction, and I got to work to get there. And this moon card looks like maybe you're reevaluating the work. Are you reevaluating the work? But it also looks like you might be reevaluating the vision and feeling like maybe the vision was wrong. If you put all of this work and effort into it, maybe the overall vision was just a bad idea. Like, was it a vision? Did you see something? Did you have an intuition? Or was it just a dream? Or was it just a strange fantasy you had for a moment? Especially if all this like work, you know how you get really enthusiastic and you might like just really hit something hard, and if you don't see results like right away, you can be like, oh, that was a dumb idea. You know, this is like, that's a little bit of the message I'm getting so far. So there's some self-reflection. What was shadows? What was vision? What, just really in your feelings, and I think really examining them right now and reconsidering things and thinking that maybe this was a dumb idea after all. You're sort of like impotently like far away of just like, yeah, I'm gonna make this happen, right? I had this idea, now I'm gonna make it happen, and that just didn't happen. So now what you could be questioning is your methodology, or the overcompensation for a lack of faith, or what you might be questioning is the overall vision, since you did already try all this stuff, but it was just too far of a distance to, it's like, if you're like, I want to lose 20 pounds, and then you're not going to do that in like 3 weeks unless you've got like, you know, a lot of help, or no, you're just not going to, right? So you hit the gym, you hit the diet, and in a week you haven't seen the results you want, so you're just like, bah, I don't know what happened, right? Well, you know, yeah. So in your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, you have Seven of Fire. This is this is in your hopes and fears. So it's sort of like part of the questions I think you're asking yourself in this moon card is, do I persist? It's a card of persistence, especially with naysayers. And I see these naysayers as coming from within you right now. They could be from without as well. But in a way, like, this is where you're rooted. This is where you need to be. But you're dealing with a lot of doubts about, you know, I put all this work in, I spun my wheels really hard, I'm never going to get off this beach. And this is like, do you stand your ground? I see you questioning yourself. Like, do you stand your ground, or do you walk away? Do you let these doubts that have come in, do you let them sway you? Do you let them erode at your foundation? Do you let them cut you off from the source? I see a sense of like, you've built something here, you're rooted here. And then we have sort of this sense of beings, entities, either within or without you. I mean, like other parts of yourself, or other people sort of eroding your ability to nurture yourself, and being afraid of that, your ability to stay here, to stay grounded, to stay rooted, to grow here. Do you have, you know, and you're trying to stay rooted, and yet there's all this sort of erosion going on underneath you. There's a lot of erosion in these readings. I don't know. It must just be this deck, I guess, but maybe more than that. But there's a lot of erosion here, and there's self-doubts eroding away at your sense of do you belong here? So Seven of Fire is about persistence, and about you've got to fight for your right to party, basically, and to be here. And you do have the high ground here. You have a right, but a lot of self-doubts are coming in. Or maybe even other people being very vocal about how you shouldn't be doing this, how you're doing it wrong. But this Seven of Fire, in your inner landscape, I think it's more about questioning yourself and wondering if you do have the stamina to stay with this, if you want to stay with this, or if you want to allow these doubts to come in. Do you have the strength to persist, even if you're no longer sure? I mean, because Two of Fire was just a really strong start there. It was a really strong start. It's like taking a mouthful, like a too big to chew mouthful, right? Was, I think, how you started out here. And then it has like, do I know how to chew? Do I want to eat? I don't know. It was just a little bit big. And so now you're wondering if you still even want to go down this path. It's kind of eroded. You kind of maybe took such a huge step. It eroded your sense of ability here. And if this is even the path you want to take. But that's just because you started off with a bang, is what I'm seeing so far. Too much. To try to accomplish too much in too short a period of time. Eight of Water in reverse. So you're not ready to move on. Nothing's calling you. Nothing seems like a better idea. What are you going to do? Quit? What are you going to do? Like, you know, if your doctor's told you that for health reasons you need to lose 20 pounds, or it's not usually a health amount, but if, let's pretend, what are you going to do? Just quit and go, like, continue on in the way that you know isn't healthy for you, or that you've been told isn't healthy for you? What are you going to do? Quit? You can't. This would be like someone who's like drinking and smoking and let's throw in doing meth, and then your doctor's like, you need to like clean up your lifestyle, and you quit all of it on the same day. This is not going to work. It's not functional. It's too much why don't we stop with the meth first, because that's the worst one, and then maybe after a while and we get stable there, we'll go to the alcohol, and then maybe we'll do the cigarettes. Like, we'll figure out as we go what we can do. So, but it's like, there's not a better idea rather than to do all of this. There's not a better idea, maybe not all at once, but you can't quit. There's not anything calling you. There's not a better idea here, is what I'm seeing. So if this is relationship, work, whatever, any kind of thing in your life, you don't see a better idea. Even though this idea didn't seem to work, you don't see a better one. In your environment, the Hermit, you might feel very alone in this effort. Like you don't have the support you need. Like, here was a bunch of people just sitting on their haunches watching you, like, wow, that's are really trying to accomplish something there. Yeah, look at that. Like, it's sort of a peanut gallery or something that just didn't maybe weren't trying to help you, but we're just sort of like sitting back and watching, like, I wonder if they're going to do that. Okay. So you may have felt in your environment, you may feel like sort of you're acting solo, you're on your own here. I mean, and the Seven of Fire is really very much like you are on your own, and this is your fear. So your inner and your outer are actually matching. You don't have the external support that you would need, especially to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. You don't have it. You're on your own. Your environment doesn't have a bunch of support. It actually has like a bunch of like, not a bunch, maybe it's people pulling at you saying you can't even do this, so why are you trying? Maybe it's just coming from within. But there's a sense of, in Seven of Fire, there is like a sense of needing your own power, needing to access your own power in order to do this. And then having the Hermit card in your environment looks like you don't, the wisdom is to go with your gut, go with your own intuition, which you're doubting now at this point. But you're going with your own intuition. You kind of have to, because you don't have support here. The people in your life aren't necessarily like, this would be like if we were, having substance issues. Normally your friendships and relationships are all sort of based around that. They're all doing the same thing. So if you want to quit that, you have to like find a whole, that's why we have like AA and these groups and stuff, because you have to find a different support system, because your support system supports you continuing on. And no matter what kind of activity it is, whether it's just being a people pleaser, whether it's shopping, whether it's, I don't know, your environment like both created the situation that made you feel like you needed to do this, and made it easy to do this, and so it supports your continued behavior. So oftentimes, even if you're just quitting smoking, which doesn't seem very social, it is very social. So it is like, you can't go out to the smoke break. So this is like, you're gonna have to be alone for a while, and you're not sure you have it in you to fight these demons by yourself. You need to, but so this is like, go it alone, do your own thing. Don't let peer pressure, like, and here you're like, peer pressure, I don't even know. And like, that word is so tainted for me, but like, don't let these people pressure you. And you're wondering if you even have the capacity to go it alone, but your environment's saying you're going to have to. You're going to have to follow your own intuition all by yourself here. Look at the Moon card and the Hermit card, both of these like dealing with like inner issues, their own feelings. Here we have like reflecting on yourself, reflecting on your ideas, and your own intuition. And here we have like looking into your emotions and your feelings. But there's a lot of wisdom here in this one, in this Hermit card. And I like that we started this all with the Star card, because it is this glimmer of like, you can do this, okay? And there should be a little hint or a little synchronicity that's gonna show you, yes, you can do this. Like, and I like that we started this all with the Star card, because there's a lot of like things not quite working out as planned, like wanting to back off from a goal because it's just not, you put all this effort in and it's just not doing what you want it to do. 10 of Air is your to-do list. This is more of a surrendering to-do list. Oh, I like how, this is fascinating. She's got the black wings here. And then she's got the black wings here, but they are removed from her. This burden of this painful situation being removed from her. And so 10 of Air, 10 is going to be a completion of something. Something's over. Air is going to be communication, thought processes, rationality. Oftentimes this is like a pain, a long-term pain and suffering that is being removed from you, so that healing can begin. So we do have like this, we have this, and 10 of Air often talks about a long-term pain, but having sort of the realization that that part is done now. There's nothing more. Like her wings have been removed, and allowing healing to come in, allowing something to finish, to be done with it, to be completed. And there's so much healing. It's like this whole like forest needs to heal you. But there is a sense of ancient, a very old wound, and it's over now. It's over. The thing causing the wound is no longer here. It's been removed from your life. And there's a sense of being rooted in the spot and being stuck in an old pain and sorrow. But there's a sense here too that, yeah, wow, it just seems like there's a sense where there's like a childhood wound or a very old, deeply rooted wound. And you have had some assistance here. And I think oftentimes this is saying, it's time to wake up from the nightmare. It's time to wake up. You can wake up. You don't have to be stuck here anymore. You don't have to be in this position anymore. There is assistance. I see spiritual assistance. There's a sweetness coming in here. So 10 of Air is about allowing something to pass. It's like for a long time, it's been like, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And 10 of Air is sort of like, it has passed. It's an acknowledgement that something has passed, that something is over. That whatever, tore you from yourself, and separated you from your higher self and your peace and your sense of who you are, whatever that is over. So I feel like this is dealing with a wound, and this can be very like intellectual or even verbal. Like it can be a sign, a card of verbal abuse. That's over. That this is over. The mark will stay with you, but a scar is a scar, right? It's different than a scab. It's a scar. It's the mark will stay with you, but it won't be, you'll be stronger for it. So consolation prize. But this is like something the wounding has been removed from you, and you are free to move on now. And then Ace of Fire. Oh, I like that we have fire. So there's a lot of fire. There's something about passion, maybe your spiritual journey here. I'm getting very much that there's a spiritual component to this journey that you're on. Ace of Fire, and that's getting inspired for the journey ahead of you again, re-inspired, right? We almost like jumped ahead here. So we started off in your past of like really trying to accomplish something all in your own power, but the chasm between where you were and what you wanted to accomplish was too great to do it through sheer force of will. This put you in some self-doubt. Where you're going here is Ace of Fire, beginning again down the path. I think this time with much more, I like that the Ace of Fire comes after the 10 of Air, right? We have this renewal after this closure, this closing off of an old wound, this beginning the healing process, but it's going to be spiritual. There's a sense where you're being called forward spiritually, you're being called into a new, I want to say, lighter, brighter self. Maybe even new projects, new creativity, new spirituality. But there's a sense here of I see a rebirth. I see sort of the born again metaphor that we know and love, right? Being born again, starting anew. Oh, this is remind me of the Rumi poem. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come again, come. Like, it's like you fell off the wagon on something, and this is like, begin again. This is all we're doing here. Begin again, start over, begin again, come into the light, make your way here again. This time with, I think, more faith in the process. Not trying to force the process, but going down the path. Out of this darkness here, we have some very dark dark energy here in your environment and in your life. And then we have a sense of this renewal here. You won't go, you know, it's the into the woods. You won't go, it's not that you won't go back into the woods, right? But it's like begin again. So there is a sense, I think with Leo, I don't know why, but with Leo, sometimes I get this sort of addiction issue or something that bedevils you. And it could be, you know, a lot of different things, not necessarily like substance, but a lot of different things. And this is sort of like, it just kind of has this, you kind of fell off the wagon of something and it's time to get back on and really trust this process. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. I love, because usually the Ten of Air has the new day and the new dawn here, right? The Ten of Air is this, the Ten of Swords is this ending, and then usually there's a dawn. But this card didn't depict that. But here we have that, and we have these like ravens. This help. It's like you wanted to do this all by yourself, all in your own effort, and maybe you shut up people that wanted to help you. Maybe you didn't accept that help or receive that help. You wanted to do it all in your own power, all by yourself. And here you have these guides have come back and they're here to help you again because they're part of this caravan. You know, we all leave the path. We all fall off the wagon. And now I see that they're back to, I mean, but you're birds of a feather. You're the same. It is like a support group or something. And you wanted to do it on your own. It didn't work out. And like, it is a support group. This is you with these wings all by yourself. This is you with the wings torn from you, like almost torn from your identity with this community. And then here's this community here supporting you, urging you on, and they're with you now and they're talking now, and you need to allow the support that wants to come in. All right. What are we looking forward to? Okay. Wild Rose Fairy, love. I love this card a lot. Raven Spirit, truth. Oh, it's almost like speaking truth in love. A loving truth. Raven Spirit. Geez Louise. Raven Spirit. This whole thing is corvids down here. Right? Raven spirit, and that sense that you were separated from your spirit, from your group. It's like you were part of some sort of, like, I want to say a drill team. You're part of a drill team, but you left your costume or your uniform at home. And so you weren't able to be part of the team. And so now you're getting your uniform back. Someone's coming in, there's something coming in, giving you your uniform back so that you can march with this team. You almost like left it on, you're like, no, I'm going to do my thing. This reminds me, again, it's story time with Empress Rose here, but this reminds me of, I took ballet in second grade. But as soon as we got on the stage, I refused to do the dance that we had rehearsed and did something I wanted to do. So here were all my classmates over here, and then here was me, like, people were yelling at me, my teacher, I can still see her like behind the curtain, just like, and I don't think I did it on purpose. I like don't remember thinking, ha ha ha. I just remember thinking, yes, we are dancing here now. I was told I was going to go on stage and dance today, so here I am. That's a little bit of what it is like you're not in sync with other people. And now we have the Raven Spirit coming in, maybe with some truth here. Maybe some of the support is going to be like, yeah, you tried to do it on your own, and that's just not going to work for you. And then we have Moonlight Enchantment, and I like it because we have the moon here too. And then we have Wild Rose Fairy. You are surrounded by love. This is where your to-do list right now. The roses here in the woods, the wild roses, there is a lot of love that surrounds you, and it wants to come in and support you. And so then Moonlight Enchantment, magic. This has been a very magical reading. I really enjoyed it. So grateful to be able to do this for you. And good luck, Leo.